Everyone, it's Melissa, and welcome back to my channel. Are you ready to make an adorable necklace using the newest Softlex company design kit, Sunset Splendor? I will also be adding in gemstones. I'll be using this Mookatie pendant as well as a few Mookatie beads, and these are from a bead shop in Placerville, California, Artistic Beads and Studio. And the fun thing about Mookatie is it is a form of jasper, but it's also a one source gemstone found in Australia. And it comes in so many different colors. When I saw this pendant, I thought it fit really well, kind of like a sun for this beautiful design kit. And then these check glass beads that were exclusive in the kit just reminded me of a jasper. So I thought, how fun would that be to incorporate Mookatie into this design? And before we start creating, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It helps my little channel grow. So I will be using 22 gauge in gold, and this is a rose gold from Softlex Company. Their craft wire is fantastic. If you do any type of wire work or wire weaving, you definitely want to use the craft wire. So I'll be doing that for my pendant. We're going to cut about 10 inches of the craft wire. So we have our 22 gauge craft wire. And since Mookatie is a natural gemstone, you just want to be careful with it. I wouldn't recommend anything stronger. So with the wires, the lower the number, the heavier gauge it is and the thicker of a gauge. So 22 is a nice, it's kind of right in the middle. So it's your happy medium that would fit through a natural gemstone as well as not damage it and support its weight. So we're just going to need our round nose pliers. And we're just going to make a loop. So I'm just going to go and grab my round nose pliers, give it a bend, and then I'm just going to wrap around a few times just so I have a nice little coil. I'm just going to straighten out my little circle that I made. And this is going to be my little connection point at the end of the pendant. And I have a little bit of a tail, so I'm just going to trim. I'm just going to straighten out my wire. We're going to slide the pendant on. Of our Mookatie on a wire. Just going to take our round nose pliers, give it a little bend. And we're going to do the same thing and just kind of do a few reps around the top of the pendant. And we're just going to adjust our loop. And I'm going to hold the top of my loop with my round nose pliers. And if you wanted to, you could add a few beads on there, completely up to you. So this is kind of where I like to go a little free form and just whatever little design that I can come up with. Maybe just a few little bends. So something like that. You can always add more wire and just whatever you'd like to create. And I'm only going to do this on one side, so that just gives me an option when I'm wearing this piece if I would like to have it reversible. Flatten them down. So just like a few little lines on there. And then I'm just going to take the rest of the wire and wrap it around the starting loop of our pendant. So if I wanted to have a reversible necklace, I could. Just adds a little bit of wire to the design. And then we're just going to trim off our tail. And since this is a 22 gauge wire, we can just take our pliers, just kind of flatten our wire into our piece. So we have our pendant. You just make any adjustments if needed. This is going to act as a bail or a jump ring when we're adding our beads. So we're going to use the garnet softflex wire that came in the kit and cut about 20 inches of the wire. Have our softflex wire. We have our beads that we're using. So I'm just going to slide on our pendant. That's going to be the center. And I'm also adding into my project just some crystal beads just to give it that pop of sparkle. So we have the Mookatie and then one of the square check glass. And I felt that these two crystal colors just kind of represented the sun. So we'll have a crystal, and then I'm going to add on two more of my little squares, and then two pinch beads, one on each side. And these ones here, they're kind of like a velvet texture. They were part of the Jesse James bead mix. We'll just keep adding on our beads. So we'll just keep adding on the beads until we reach our desired length for our necklace. So we have all the beads added onto our necklace. Now we're just going to use our 2x2s, couple jump rings, and your clasp. So we're going to slide on a 2x2 on one side of the wire and a jump ring. And then we're going to pass it back through our 2x2, leaving just a little bit of wiggle room. We're going to take our pliers and just give it a smash, and we're going to rotate, and this will give it a more professional finish. We have just a little bit of a tail, so I'm going to tuck that under the next bead. Then I'm going to slide my beads down so I have a larger piece of softflex wire to use on the other side. I'm going to trim that to a more working size, and always save your softflex wire. You never know when you'll need it for another project. Like this length here is perfect for an earring. And before we attach our jump ring on this side, we're just going to open it and attach our lobster claw. If you don't have a lobster claw, it would be the same thing to attach the clasp of your choice. So we gently twist our jump ring, attach our lobster claw, and give it a close. And we want to make sure it's completely closed, or else it'll find a way to open and you'll lose part of your clasp. Slide on the next 2x2 and the jump ring. And if I'm not sure about my necklace or I might want to extend it later, I want to attach it to a jump ring just so I can just open up that jump ring and add a little length of chain or shorten it if I need to. So it saves time and prevents you from restringing the whole necklace. Just give it a little smash and rotate. And we'll trim off this extra soft flex wire that we have here. We have our beautiful Sunset Splendor necklace and beads from the Softlex Company design kit and Mookatie. And I have a few beads left over, so now we're going to work on our tassel for our pendant. So we're just going to need some chain. If you want, you can also use soft flex wire, completely up to you. And I'm just going to cut various sizes of length from 1 to 1.5, maybe 2 inches. And I just have a few of these beads left over, so I thought that would be kind of nice just to make them into tassels. So go ahead and cut your lengths of chain. I'm going to be cutting 4 of them. We have our little lengths of chain here. We're also going to need 4 head pins or however many dangles you would like to create, and that many jump rings plus 1 extra to connect our tassel. I'm just going to start adding on my beads. This is also a great way to use any extra leftover beads you may have from other design kits or bead mixes. That way you just No bead goes to waste. I'll alternate these. And then we're just going to make our loops. I am using my one-step looper in the 1.5 millimeter. We're just going to slide in our bead. We want a little bit of wiggle room so it doesn't crack the bead. We're going to give it a squeeze and it's going to give us a perfect loop. And if we need to make any adjustments at the end, we will, such as adjusting our loop size and making sure they are completely closed. Give it a squeeze, and we have our little component. Our next step is going to make sure that all our loops are completely closed. So we're going to take a round nose plier, just kind of roll back into the loop. If they're not closed, somehow, some way, they always find a way to reopen. So we're just going to close. Now we're going to use our jump rings and our little lengths of chain. So we're going to open up a first jump ring and slide on our little dangle. And you can add more than one dangle to each jump ring if you prefer. Now we're just going to slide on the link of chain and give it a close. So we'll have our first little dangle. We're just going to do that for the rest of the 4. Open. And if you wanted to, you could just make this as a necklace and have your dangles just off of your pendant on maybe some silver silk or leather or just soft flex wire. Maybe just kind of braid your soft flex wire. Endless possibilities. We're on the final step of our project. Now we're just going to take that last jump ring. We're going to open. And we get to arrange our dangles however we would like. So we're just going to slide those onto the jump ring. And what's nice with this as well is since it's a jump ring, if you don't like the way that it goes on, you can always just adjust it. And then our long one with our Mookatie. So we have our little tassel. Then we're just going to attach this to the bottom part of our pendant and give it a close. You'll hear that little click. And we have our beautiful sunset necklace using Mookatie as well as beads from the Softlex Company design kit Sunset Splendor. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It helps my little channel grow. And check out down below in the description for all other information on necklace tutorials as well as other tutorials using this fantastic design kit. Have an awesome day.